Hello, everyone. So nice to be here and to share the stage with Christian today, to give you a little bit of insights about circular economy, what we're doing in our both companies, especially when it comes to digitalization and the battery path. Let me start with a hypothesis. And I believe we heard that throughout the days over the course of the last presentation, our industry is changing. It's changing fast, it's changing in different directions, it's changing in different dimensions. Means digitalization, sustainability, electromobility, autonomous driving, all topics of our industry, and all topics are changing the way we do business, how we operate, and how we work. Now, when we look at digitalization, working together with partners, when we look at sustainability, and especially when we look at how we manage electromobility, we believe the battery passport is going to be in the heart of that. And the battery passport is going to be a trailblazer for digital product passports. And I bet everyone who is working in the automotive industry is going to be affected by this, one way or another. Let me share this slide. I'm from the purchasing department within BMW, and what you see on the bottom there, it started out within our purchasing department, looking in our division, looking towards our first tiers. How can we communicate? How can we manage the good old times? Then it moved on pretty fast. We needed to work within our divisions, between those divisions, working together with engineering, production, purchasing, HR, and so on and so forth. But we also needed to understand our supply chains better. Now we are moving towards value chains, which means we need to look at external partners to be compliant, to be effective, to be efficient. And we actually need to look at value chains in terms of, hey, is it just only the supply chain or is that broadening? And I believe we do see that happening. Just to give you a prime example, just yesterday I had a meeting about the end-of-life vehicle directive. Some of you may know that, or maybe all of you. This is going to be a game changer in our industry, I believe. It's going to hit our industry somewhere around 2030. And within that call, there was consumer industry, there was chemical industry, electronic industry, and they were all discussing that directive because they were understanding the change in the automotive industry is going to affect them when we are looking at how can we get scarce resources, but it's also affecting them in terms of digitalization. How can we exchange data? How can we manage data in the most effective and efficient way? Because I believe that is going to be a differentiator in our industry, that is going to be something which cuts costs if done right. What you can see here is the battery passport, or that end-of-life vehicle directive. That is just the start. If it was only this, I could tell you, look at this, brace yourself, get ready, you will be probably fine if you do the right things. But those are just the first waves, hitting shore of a tsunami of regulations. Not only in Europe, but in the US, in China, regulations are mounting, and they are all demanding our attention, because they are our license to operate. If we do not comply with the battery regulation, we will not be able to sell our vehicles in the European market. It's our license to operate. And again, it's just the first wave of a bigger tsunami which is coming. But I believe it's very much important to look at the battery regulation itself, because the battery regulation is demanding a battery passport. And that battery passport, and I will tell you a little bit more about this in just a little bit, is actually more than just sustainability. It's quality information, it's traceability information, it's manufacturing information. It's all in there. And regulation actually is telling us, think about product passport, battery passports, and use the first trailblazer, like the battery passport, to not build up every passport itself, but to make them integratable, make them interconnectable. Because those regulations which are coming, they are demanding action. Not only within, as I tried to show you, our companies, but especially within our networks, within our value chain, even across industry. Just to name you a few other regulations which have a sense of those battery passport, digital product passports in there. Euro 7, eco-design, end-of-life vehicle regulation, battery regulation. And this is just Europe. US, Japan, China, we see that coming there as well. So what is the battery passport? Now this big methodological thing, right? The battery passport you can see down here, and bear with me for a second so that I can explain it to you. The battery passport is actually divided into 7 clusters. And as I just mentioned, it's more than just telling you about PCF values, secondary material values. There's quality information in there. There's metadata in there. There's manufacturing data in there. And what you can also see, those information are coming through the supply chain. Yes, the OEM, BMW in my case, is responsible to providing this battery passport. But we are heavily reliant on our partners on this. And if now every OEM, Volkswagen, Mercedes, and also the foreign OEMs from outside Europe are doing that themselves, this is not de-risking in the supply chain. This is actually putting the supply chain at risk. We need to work together on this because I believe this is hitting every one of us. Again, the waves hitting the shore, and this is just the first wave. And if we are doing this right together, the rest which will follow will be easier. Not telling you it's going to be easy, but easier. So collaboration is key. And to finish up, and then I'm handing over to Christian, let me show you the wave. Let me show you the tsunami. On the left-hand side, you see the differentiation. Battery passport needs to be instance-proofed, which means every single high-voltage battery is going to have that battery passport. But most of that data, and a lot of that data which is in there, is actually coming from a type level, which means it is founded, it is created in our engineering departments, and in other departments as well. And if you see those small waves, the blue and the green, I believe it is, this is battery passport. That is manageable, as I just mentioned. Other regulations coming in Europe are going to make an even greater impact on that. And if we do the baseline right together, then we have the opportunity to manage this wave much more easily together. So I can only ask you to join forces on this, brace yourself, work together, and be aware of what's coming, because there's a good solution out there. There are good solutions out there, but they all demand collaboration, I believe. And this is my keyword to hand over to Christian.
Yeah, thank you very much, Philipp. Thanks, Philipp, for your wonderful speech. And this is the first part of our joint keynote. So let me start with a comment. The comment is, so in the last 2-3 years, I had a lot of discussions with different companies, automotive OEMs, suppliers, network partners, small, medium enterprises, and so on. And we talked about how can you enable circular economy with your partners. What is the way to do that? How can we empower the circular economy approach? And we were so surprised. There is no clear handbook. There is no receipt. There is no manual. There is no description. There is nothing in you can't read it in a book. But the question is so important to say how can we accelerate the transformation into circular economy. So now I could finish my presentation, but now I have some recommendations with me to improve ours or the circular economy approach or your programs. First, work together. So we in a 10X initiative, for example, we worked over 3 years together in a consortia, and we worked together in the next step in the association, and we will tell you a little bit more in the next slide about it. Number second, we believe the OKR methodology is the right way to work on the operational level together. We call it cross-company OKR collaboration, and I'd like to explain to you in the next slides what does it mean. And number three, Philipp is talking about the tsunami of regulation, and I would add this. We see a lot of standards, initiatives, and KPIs and indicators, and then therefore we developed a circular economy radar to have a full transparent view about your coming up regulations and so on. And we want to share this information over the whole value chain. First, I talked about the circular economy initiative, and Philipp said already we have a working group. We have a lot of working groups in our association, and one of these is, of course, the circular economy working group. Thank you very much. And the second one is we have other sustainability-related working groups, especially the PCF, working on to define standards, define data exchange models, data models, and so on. And of course, regarding product passports and battery passports. And I'd like to invite you as a representative of the automotive value chain, be part of these working groups. Let's work together. Let's talk about it. Let's define standards and to accelerate our circular economy topics. So I talked about OKR sets. Is anybody of you is working already with OKRs? Just as some hands. That's great. That's great. We learned with our own organization, OKR sets are quite cool to transform your strategy, to execute your strategy. But what we believe is when you define OKR sets and share the OKR sets with your value chain partners, it's the next step of the operational model for working together over the whole value chain to enable circular economy approach. And the cool thing, and I really believe, we call it outcome management. So every 3 months we have it on the table. We can talk about it. What was our outcome of each of the objectives and key results we defined before? And we really believe there is a cool instrument to use it. Let's do it. Let's implement it. This methodology. I really believe that that's a cool thing. And last one, I told you regarding the circular economy radar, we at Siemens, together with other partners in the 10X consortia, we developed a POC regarding circular economy radar. We call it circular economy or sustainability radar, and has a full view of regulations, of standards and initiatives and KPIs. And the important thing is, We don't like to research, to have a research every week, every month to find new objects for the radar. We will believe we connect the sources. We want to use the network to share information, and therefore everybody is invited to share the information, to transform the information, which has affected your business over the circular economy radar to enable the circular economy. So it was quite quick. So I think we have a lot of time to have your questions. Thank you very much for having us, and looking forward to have questions from you. You're welcome.
Christian. And as you can see, the audience definitely has also a couple of questions for you. And the first one is here. It's a question. Why can't there be just one passport that fits all the countries? Because sustainability, reusability is key, isn't it? So from your experience, what would you answer?
Well, the first passport in terms of what regulation demands is coming from Europe. Battery regulation. Again, we see that in other markets happening as well, Japan, China, US. My vision and my hope would be exactly that we as an industry define how that passport looks, how it works, how it interconnects, how it's sovereign, how it's integratable, based on Cathina. That's our vision at BMW, and with other partners like Siemens as well. And therefore make it work for all countries. Regulations will look differently, and we see that in the circular economy radar, we see that in other topics as well. But the passports and the passport we define should be interoperable and therefore should work for all of those countries, for all of those life cycle stages, because yes, as it's mentioned here, it's key for reusability, it's key for product performance, it's key for sustainability.
Okay, good. And the second question goes into the direction of Cathina X, whether, this commercial solution, is there one for the battery passport, or will there be one in the future? Could you tell us a little bit more about the details of Cathina X?
Mm-hmm, yeah. Sure. Cathina X started out as an industry consortia 2.5, almost 3 years ago. And it had the opportunity to build up this data space with different use cases, one being circular economy and one being, within that, one being the digital product passport, emphasizing on the battery passport. Throughout that journey, we had the opportunity with other partners as well, making it an association and a commercialized opportunity there as well, which we call Cofinity X. And yes, there are battery passport solutions out there which are on this verge or already in the market, which are usable, which are using Cathina X standards. I'm happy to say that. There will be more to come, I can tell you that, or we can see that already. And there's an open source solution. There's Cathina X throughout this consortia developed an open source solution. So open source, I heard that in the discussion before, is a very crucial part to be open, to be a data space. So there's also an open source solution.
And on Cathina X, because there is a specific question there actually to explain shortly what this initiative, this digital ecosystem is, as you are fully embedded. Can you maybe also take this one?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. As just mentioned, it started out as an industry initiative out of 28 partners, grew into an association, more than 140, 50, I believe. It's more than that already, partners of the value chain internationally. As we speak, that association actually has an event in France, in Paris, with the Cathina X hub there. So it's spreading, so to say. And it founded this industry commercial side to it, which we call Cofinity X. So Cathina X is actually 3 things, so to say. To bring it down to one sentence, Cathina X is a data space which helps you as an industry partner make your data integratable and interoperable. So if you are sharing data with OEMs, If you are sharing data with partners, may it be for the battery passport, Catena-X is helping you to do it one time only and do it one time right, and then all the partners who participate can then use that standard, use that data space to share that. So it's I would say one of the, I mean, I'm working in it, so I'm saying that coolest initiatives, but it's definitely one of the initiatives where I believe it's transforming our industry.
And let me add something. So I'm a steering committee member for the Catena-X association currently, and especially for circular economy and for sustainability. And we're looking for new partners. We're looking for new companies joining our association, and we like to work on standardization for data exchange, for example. And PCF Group for electronic components will be founded maybe next month or in May, latest in May. So please, if you are highly interested to be part of this initiative, here's my invitation to do that.
Okay, good. Yeah, so that we have this invitation. And then there is a question basically. So someone is asking, so an owner of an electrical vehicle, how are passports being handed out to the people that already have an electrical vehicle on the road prior to 2025? So do I get a digital passport?
Good question. BMW, I can only now speak for BMW, and I can tell you a little bit of what regulation is demanding. BMW already is giving you transparency about your vehicle today, about the battery which is in there. This will over time increase, that's for sure, and it will be given to you, or BMW is providing that to the customers throughout the My BMW app. Regulation is demanding that information within the battery passport is made accessible in the most easy and not discriminating way. So there will be also other options on that, but BMW is making sure that you as a customer has the ability to access your battery passport throughout BMW infrastructure.
Okay. Good. And right now there is another question which is very, very technical. So someone most probably is asking, how can we secure that there is no manipulation taking place? So hitting in the direction of the blockchain, so the distributed ledgers. Could you also answer this one, really the technical aspect of the blockchain functionality?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Catena-X, again, is an open data space. And we actually have a working group which we call Forward Thinking Organization, because we did not start out with using blockchain. We actually integrated some blockchain use cases. Blockchain is in other technologies as well. I don't want to just focus on blockchain. Other technologies as well need to be interoperable, or it should be interoperable with what we are working on within Catena-X. So Catena-X as a data space is focusing on making different technologies interoperable. This could go to commercial providers and to specific technology. Are we there yet for every technology? No, that's why we are asking for support and also asking to join the fight, so to say. But it's certainly on the roadmap, and there are already concepts on how to integrate that in the data space.
Okay, very good. Now then there is another question there. It's a question regarding competition strategy. So 3 likes are related to it. How does BMW see the policy battery passport? Do you think this is a way for blocking OEMs, Chinese OEMs, away from the European market?
Also a very good question. I believe there is tension between the markets. We can certainly say that. BMW is about competition. We believe in cooperation and we believe in competition. That's why we are one of the founding members of Catena-X. Battery passport and other instruments, in our opinion, should not be misused. Rather than fostering collaboration, rather than jointly working together on this, is there a potential for regulation to be misused? Yes, there is. We as an industry should lobby for working together, cooperating together, keeping also other parties, supply chain parties, which are in China connected to us, because I believe that that is very important. And again, supporting the battery passport in the current way, we believe is a good way forward, not only for Catena X, but also for collaboration and sharing information.
Okay, good. And yeah, so, and I mean, Christian, you have just spread the word, and you have invited potential participants, and there is maybe someone who's interested, and they say, or she says, is there a need, a sense for software engineering suppliers to be part of Catena X as well? Yeah, so
quite clear answer, yes. Yes, we have a lot of software engineering companies currently in the association and in the consortia as well. Yes, everybody is invited to be part of this association, because the whole automotive industry is invited to be part of this. So we're talking about 75,000 companies worldwide.
275.
Sorry, more than 75. So 220,000 companies worldwide are invited to be part of this data changing model here. And so we started with a small group, but we need to expand very soon. So clear answer, yes, you are highly welcomed.
I mean, it's a data space, and you need software engineers to build data spaces. So we need that skill set, we need that capabilities from companies all around the world.
okay. And then we have one last question there, which is there an overlap or a collaboration with Green NCAP?
Good question.
I believe we see that, especially looking at battery passports, digital product passports. I think at BMW, together with Siemens, we counted at some point there, I believe, are several of initiatives who are looking at circular economy, looking at digital product passports, looking at those topics. And yes, there's an overlap, of course, but again, there's also collaboration, not only with this initiative, but also with, for instance, the Global Battery Alliance, Battery Passport Made with Germany, to name another one, Surpass, to name another one, the World Economic Forum, etc., etc. And I believe this is key, because all those collaborations and groups focused and started with maybe a different mindset, maybe on a different topic, but bringing the industry together in exchanging data, collaborating on this topic, handling the tsunami, as I mentioned, is going to be crucial for de-risking, for sustainability, and making it the most efficient way we can to handle what's coming.
Big thank you. Yeah, so for all the details that you have shared with us. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, this was Philipp Leschinski, the business owner, circular economy from BMW Group, together with Christian Neumann, the head of sustainability from Siemens Advanta. Big applause for this highlight towards the end.
Thank you.